dramatically. All County Healthcare, Inc. still does it the old-fashioned way, where our nurses and healthcare professionals come into your home to service your medical needs, providing you the fastest and best care possible. For more information, call 954-717-7027. And remember, Medicare Home Care is covered by Part A of Medicare with no out-of-pocket cost to you. It's your decision, and only your decision, on what healthcare agency you use. Call today. All County Home Health Care, Inc. at 954-717-7027. License 200999096. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Amp2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show. All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients.
Hello, South Florida and beyond.
Or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, South Florida and beyond, and welcome to the You and Your Doctor Living a Longer and Healthier Life show. We're going to get right into it. We have Dr. Herb Sennett. He's a PhD. On the program tonight, also known as the Encouragement Doctor, and probably one of the most impressive professional standing educational background, previous experience, etc. that I've ever seen come my way. So without further ado, I want to welcome Dr. Herb Sennett to the program. Dr. Sennett, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing just super. How are you?
Great. It's great to hear you loud and clear. Let's get right into it. So, I guess one of the questions, we're all asking each other is how we're doing during this, first it was an epidemic, now it's a pandemic, COVID-19. How are you doing? I mean, I just found out 30 minutes ago, you're my neighbor 10 minutes away. So how are you doing, neighbor?
Hey, I'm doing excellent. I like the fact that our governor asked us to stay in, and we have been living by that, my wife and I. And it's not been a big deal.
Oh, good. Yeah. Like we were talking before, I've been at home for 5 weeks. This is the start of my 5th week working from home, and I can't complain. We get to spend a lot of time with loved ones. So you kind of told us how you're already social distancing. How are you keeping your immune system up? Because I know for people, I'm a true Floridian. I was born and raised here in South Florida. I like to get out in the sun as much as I can. Right now it's a little different, but how are you doing it? Because you look great on the video conference here and you look healthy, so that's great.
Well, thank you so much. And also you have to consider the fact that I'm smack dab in the middle of the group that they worry about the most. I'm not just a senior citizen. I'm well along in my senior citizenship. I'm currently 75 years old. And I like to think that I'm now in the 4th quarter of my life. And I think that's when you work harder, isn't it? You push to the end of the game to make sure everything is fine. Thank you. My wife and I get out, we walk, I eat regularly. We regiment. I get up in the morning, I eat breakfast. We have lunch and a dinner. We try to eat meat and vegetables and other things like that. Plus, I drink probably about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water every day, one sip at a time.
Yeah.
And if you keep it up, you do that. So I don't have issues like elderly gentlemen do. I don't have those kinds of issues because I keep my kidneys operating constantly. I eat the right kind of foods. And and try to get as much exercise and get out in that sun. Hey, I've been down here 35 years. So I am used to the sun. I'm used to the heat. I love it. I'm about as much of a Floridian as you can possibly get without having been born here.
Well, you're in because you've been here that long and you're great. So you're in. One of the things I was sharing with you earlier is yeah, I was doing a good job working out before all this, and I get up I'm out the door at sunrise, and I just walk in my community. I just do a mile, but I feel like that gives me a little bit of sunlight, a little bit of, I guess, vitamin D if you get it from the sun. They're saying, and
Yeah.
I don't get tired during the day because that little walk in the morning, I power walk, but it gives me energy throughout the day, and it sounds like you've discovered the same things over the years.
Well, I've kept myself healthy for a number of different reasons. But if you meet my wife, Beverly, believe me, I have to stay healthy to keep up with her. So she is quite the active young lady. We have done all kinds of things, and I recommend this, especially as you start getting older, and if you have a lot of older listeners. The thing is to stay active, get out there, do things. For the past 5 years since I retired, we have taken numerous trips, just driving trips. And we'll go out west. We have visited probably about half of the national parks west of the Mississippi River, and have climbed the rocks, climbed the mountains, everything we can possibly do to stay healthy, stay strong, and stay active.
That's great. And I know one of the things you do a lot of as well. I mean, we're going to get into your resume here. We may have to have you on again. It's so long, but one of the things that you love to do is write.
I
You
do.
love writing. And if the people from this program know, I was a newspaper reporter. I still kind of freelance and I do a lot of writing. But let's get it right into it with your writing, because I discovered on one of your websites right now, if people are trying to find something to do, you offer on one of your sites a free chapter.
Actually, my website, novelsbyherb.com. And on there are my three novels. And here they are. Dun dun. So, whatever. Anyway, there's something
Yeah,
there
Death
for
on Duval Street.
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
There's
We've all been
something
to Key
there.
West.
Oh boy, Death on Duval Street was as my one of my favorites, just in my doing things. I anyway, it's and I have another one which people in South Florida will appreciate, and that is Death on A1A. There you go, a murder mystery with a former NYPD detective who. Uh, had some problems in New York and fled down to South Florida, where he would be in the middle of a whole lot of New Yorkers, just like he was before. And so that was the whole thing. My first novel, and I will hold this one up, and there we go. It is called The Reluctant General. This is a historical novel. I take a story from out of the Bible, the story of the judge, the female judge, Deborah, and I have done a great deal of study. I hold 2 degrees in theology and religious studies, and part of my was studying ancient Israel, and I began looking deeper and deeper into those wonderful stories that are there in the what I refer to as a Christian as the Old Testament, but the writings of the Jewish people. And so I did a lot more studying. Plus, as most of you will find out about, I spent 28 years in the Army Reserves. So I've got a tremendous background, a long background in the military as well. So I put both of those together, studied tactics, and then studied ancient tactical matters. And I wrote about, I think, about as accurately as you possibly can get to depict the story of how 10,000 farmers defeated a military of over 50,000 trained military soldiers, plus they also had 900 iron chariots, each of those chariots being pulled between 2 and 4 horses. This was, and they totally destroyed this army. I figured out how they could have done it. That's what, and no more. You have to buy the book.
Yeah. And again, it's herbsennett.com. It's HERBSENNETT.com. And I know you have some other websites. We're going to give info on that on the other side. But I was so happy when I went on your website to see the free chapter, because I think that's great when authors do that. It gives the prospective reader, consumer a little bit of an intro, and that always gets me, on the line. You got me on the line. I'm going to be back on there tonight and probably buy, Death on A1A and Death on Duval Street, because I grew up near A1A. I'm fascinated with investigations, and I've spent a lot of time on Duval Street in my life. So love it down there. I have a special, unique connection to Duval Street.
I did have one critic be very upset because I did not depict the underbelly lifestyle of Key West. I kept it clean. And that's one of the things about my novels that I believe a lot of people can appreciate. I don't use bad language. I am very much a person who does not have to depend upon coarse and crude language to get people to read my stuff. That's me.
Great. No, that is great. Well, Herb, hold that comment. We're going to take a quick break. And on the other side, I want to talk a little bit about what you do as an interpersonal communication consultant and your other websites, lovinglifefully.com and the other one on the other side. We'll be right back in a minute on the You and Your Doctor Living a Longer and Healthier Life show.
Great.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027, or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. The patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Hello, South Florida and beyond, and welcome back to the You and Your Doctor Living a Longer and Healthier Life show. We're here with Dr. Herb Sennett. He's also an author, and I didn't get to say it before, but he's a doctor of philosophy, doctor of ministry, master of fine arts, master of divinity, master of arts, BSc, Bachelor of Science in Education. He's also been a professor here in South Florida and the Southeast, I mean, it goes on and on. You can get all this info. Oh, I didn't get to say thank you for your service. You were a chaplain in the U.S. Army Reserves from 1983 to 2004. Thank you for your service.
You are. I appreciate that. Actually, it was a little longer than that. I was, first of all, in the service from 1968 until 75. I was first commissioned as an infantry second lieutenant out of graduating from college. And less than 9 months after I graduated from college, I was holding a rifle defending myself in South Vietnam. Now, that's something you don't look for when you graduate to college, is to be in war. And that I grew up, shall I say, it didn't take me long to grow up after that.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for your service in that war. I know a lot, a while back, it's hard to even say this, that, you didn't get a lot of thank yous for that war, but that, has put us, our freedoms, and, you've defended our freedoms across the globe. So that's just amazing.
And that is where I really learned that taking care of myself health-wise is absolutely important. My wife says, no, you didn't. You had to do it to stay in the Army. But anyway, I like thinking that I took the good habits that I formed in the military and I kept them for the rest of my life so far.
Yeah, I'm going to send this interview to my nephew, Austin. He's up in on the Navy in Pensacola. So actually Air Force, he's going to get me on that. I keep on thinking Navy's Pensacola.
No.
In the Air Force. Sorry, Austin, but I'll still send you this. But you were also, you taught high school. You've been a pastor. You've been in theater. You're a screenwriter. And then, with the novels. And I know we only have 30 minutes today. We could go on and on. I'm going to have you on again in the future for sure. Let's talk a little bit. You have an upcoming book. So you've got these 3 books, and then you got another book that kind of goes, I think, with, interpersonal communications, discovering the joy of life, because we have to be good with ourselves first before we can give it to others, right?
Oh, absolutely. And my website, one of my other websites is lovinglifefully.com. That's lovinglifefully.com. And at that site, you will find all kinds of resources and articles and some of my speeches and presentations along the way there about how to enjoy being alive. And from that website has developed this book that I've started by calling it not another book on happiness, please, but I decided to change the name a little bit. There are too many books out there on happiness, but this one, the title right at the moment is Take a Chance on Happiness, or Finding the Joy in Living. And that it's got plenty of explanation as to the psychological, the emotional, even the physiological issues that are involved in living a joyful, contented, happy life. But it also is full of all kinds of suggestions of things to do while you're working on building your own happiness and joy in life. So it's practical.
That's great. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to that as well. So you're still in the writing process on that one. Is that correct?
Oh, well, it's in the hands of an editor right at the moment.
Oh, wow. You can wait. No, that's great, though. So you've already, there may be a couple changes, but the majority is, sounds like It's complete. That's great. When did you start writing? Like, I started writing very early, and then I kind of took a break, kind of rediscovered myself in early college, 19 years old. But I'd like to hear when you started writing, because you've had such a storied career.
That's an interesting question. I've been writing because I had to. As a professor, you have to publish or you perish. And I have written a number of articles in professional journals for education, especially in the theater arts. I've also written 2 academic books that have to do with theater and theater history and the practice of theater, especially in its relationship with the churches and synagogues of America and how drama is being used in those places. So I have a very wide variety of experiences. I guess, as my wife told me one time, I never could figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up. So I'm still in the process of discovering what I want to do when I grow up.
That's great. I mean, it's an adventure, isn't it?
Absolutely. I enjoy every day I wake up. It's been years since I dreaded getting out of the bed. I love life. I love the people around me. And part of that is that I accept that I can't do anything to make other people different. So what I do is I make sure I am the best me I can be with everybody around me, whether they want or like me or not. And if somebody doesn't want to be around me, that's not my problem. That's their problem. They're missing out. So I don't worry about what other people think. I am me. I'm who I am. And I let people decide whether they want to hang around me or not. And I've spent so much time telling my students that. I've been in the classroom for over 30 years. And that's a long time to be teaching. But I've always tried to encourage my students. And that's kind of where that whole thing about the doctor of encouragement has come from. I've had several students kind of refer to me that way. And I decided when I retired, I was going to make it my life's work to do everything I can to reach out to people around me and help encourage them. You can. If you can dream it, you can do it. Don't just dream and sit. Dream, then do.
Yeah, you gotta. I'm a big music fan, and a lot of people know that I'm a big Eddie Vedder fan of Pearl Jam. And I recently heard an interview of him, and he's said the same thing. Dream it, but then put the time in. You're gonna have to work hard to get to this point. I just didn't pick up a guitar and start singing like this. I was in 3 bands before this. I really had to hit the pavement. I lived in a van. I did everything that I had to do, but. Dream it, but then do it. Do whatever it takes to take the next level. He worked out hard on those aspects of his life. And I just want to tell you, Dr. Herb Sennett, they're loving you on Facebook. Bob Weeder just commented, we need to learn how to love ourselves first so that we can love others. So he's obviously been listening intently. Then he says, plan, execute, achieve. And he says, that's my Bobby Del Rey model because he's known as Bobby Del Rey. So they're loving it.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. It's all about start with yourself and just get used to being yourself in your own skin, and don't worry about other people. They're going to take care of themselves.
Yeah, well, this has been a great interview. We have so much more to talk about. I mean, we only have like 30 seconds, but let's have you on again in the near future, Dr. Herb Sennett, if you don't mind. Let me give out your info one more time. It's herbsennett.com. It's HERBSENNETT.com. Or check out lovinglifefully.com. Dr. Sennett, my neighbor, we'll have you on again. Great. Have a good night. And we'll see you next time on the You and Your Doctor Living a Longer and Healthier Life show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for letting us share with you a longer and healthier lifestyle. If you have a doctor or are a doctor and wish to be on the show, Call AMP2 TV at 866-244-5422, and we will put you on the air as soon as possible. Tune in next week for more information on living longer and having a healthier life.